that's entertainment. You know, when you're a great fighter, a great entertainer in general, you want the person to say, when do I see that person again? When's he gonna play again? When's he gonna fight again? You know, you gotta be able, if you can't put in the seats, you're gonna get fired. You know.
40 fights, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's gonna win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. And it didn't take me going to camp to know this.
Okay.
Weight gain. So Israel Majimov says that if Terence Crawford bulks up, that's gonna be the biggest mistake he can possibly make. And that's gonna hinder him from being victorious against Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Mike Tyson opened up about his experience working with Terence Crawford, stressing how crucial it is to stay composed heading into a massive showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Tyson noted that when the spotlight is this bright, the toughest challenge isn't just physical, it's mental. He believes that if Crawford keeps his mindset steady and doesn't let the occasion consume him, he'll be able to fight at his highest level and potentially make the victory look far more straightforward.
You know, fighters, pressure, right? Pressure's not being hit. You know, everybody thinks pressure's like getting on stage. No, pressure's the thought of being hit. And that's how they fall. The thought is I'm not hitting that hard, but they think I am.
Right. So
it's all psychological.
Are you, when you're walking to the ring, are you noticing anything, or are you so locked in?
I see everything moving. Every person, every girl.
Dude, your walk-ins would last longer than the fights sometimes.
Do anyone have a napkin on my towels? Because I'm sweating like a pit with one hole up here.
You sweat.
We will get you one.
You sweat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You sweating like Charles Barkley at a spelling bee.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sweating pretty hard there too.
Exactly. So Mike, we all know you hit hard. Who was the first person that when they hit you, you was like, oh, okay, this guy hits pretty hard?
Amir Khan, who's faced Canelo Alvarez in the past, shared a perspective on a possible showdown between Canelo and Terence Crawford. Khan described Canelo as a proven champion with unmatched experience, but also highlighted Crawford's power and the way he's been adapting as he moves up in weight. In Khan's view, Crawford is looking stronger than ever, which makes this matchup far from one-sided. Both fighters bring elite skills, and either man could change the fight's direction in a single moment. While Khan respects Canelo's dominance at higher weight classes, he also warned that Crawford's adaptability and ability to rise to challenges make this contest very difficult to call.
He did that to Canelo after, so to your point, can Crawford do the same? Coming up from 54 and 47, can he, or will that, throw off the catch and shoot? I was gonna catch and shoot,
We're not catching and shoot.
Make me think.
We're not catching and shoot.
We're catching and resetting and getting out of this range for a minute or two.
My fight with Arrow, I came back to the corner. I had a look on my face, I guess. My dad said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Nothing." Like, classic Sean, nothing. He said, "Sean, tell me what's wrong." I said, my legs are kind of tight. He said, "Your legs kind of tight." He looked back, looked behind him. He would always do this and look back at the other corner. I don't know why. He looked back at them.
It was a habit problem.
He said, "All right, we're not gonna use our legs so much this round." And I was thinking to myself, like, I need these legs.
I'm not trying to wear these shots.
So, to your point, when there's a feeling,
when the nervous system goes out,
where does that adjustment take place? Do you trust the adjustment? Do you implement it? So that next round I did settle down a little more. I was
lost the round.
Whatever. Hell up.
I don't even know what round it is. Chill out.
You don't even know what round it is. Pour this water on you. So we got some time until this fight. So we ain't gotta pour it all out at one time. We'll work our way up to this one.
Try to get on big guests to lead up to the fight.
Expect some more very, very big guests, and expect some very, very big things from the Puerto Rico podcast the week of Crawford versus Canelo versus Crawford takes place here. What is that? September 6th?
13th. I was just gonna say, I've been critical of the fight because I felt like it serves as a foreground to the Ali Act stuff. And
many analysts have pointed out concerns about Crawford's age and his limited experience at the higher weight classes. By the time potential fight with Canelo happens, Crawford could be 38, an age where most fighters naturally begin to slow down. although he already moved up to 154 pounds for a bout with Israil Madrimov. Critics argue that one fight is enough to prove he's fully prepared for someone as established in the heavier divisions as Canelo. In boxing, age affects more than just endurance. It impacts speed, reflexes, and recovery, all of which are crucial against a relentless opponent. While Crawford's skill set is still considered elite, questions remain about whether his body can keep up at this level. For many observers, this would be the ultimate test of his career, demanding not only technical brilliance, but also physical durability and mental toughness.
Being successful, September 13th, Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium, when he takes on another first ballot Hall of Famer, 4-division world champion, 2-time undisputed world champion, and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Terence Crawford had one fight at 154. That was against Israil Madrimov, the WBA junior middleweight world champion, right? And since then, Terence Crawford has moved up now to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez, okay? And so prior to that, he spent 5 years at what? Welterweight. So the concern that people have for Terence Crawford, rightfully so, is that Terence Crawford will be 38 years of age 2 weeks after the fight. So he's 37, okay? Terence Crawford has one fight at 154. Prior to that, Terence Crawford has been competing, okay, since 2018 for the last 7 years at 147. Since June of 2018, he's been fighting at 147. His only fight outside of that division in the last 5 to 6 years was his fight against Israil Madrimov at 154, which he won, unanimous decision. I thought he handily won, but people thought that he struggled. Israil Madrimov is now 10 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 7 wins by way of knockout because he lost his last fight to Mexican superstar, WBC junior middleweight interim champion, Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Crawford and his camp have made it clear that their preparation is built around strategy and discipline. They've studied where Jermall Charlo went wrong against Canelo and are determined not to repeat those mistakes. Crawford has stressed that he's a completely different fighter. His style, focus, and ring intelligence separate him from others who've stepped into the ring with Canelo. His team's game plan centers on movement, accuracy, and carefully managed pacing, knowing that raw power alone won't be enough. Instead, the goal is to use sharp defense to frustrate Canelo and create openings for counterattacks. Training has been intense, with demanding conditioning drills and sparring sessions specifically designed to simulate Canelo's strength and constant pressure.
Team Crawford just revealed that they're currently working on making sure that the Omaha native doesn't end up like Jermall Charlo this coming September 13th when he faces Canelo Alvarez. Now this report comes from Boxing Scene, wherein it was just revealed by somebody from Crawford's camp that Terence Crawford is, quote, wary of repeating the mistake that former 154-pound champion Jermall Charlo made to a new weight limit without consideration of other factors. Boxing Scene further elaborated by saying that Crawford wants to retain his ability to fight with fluidity, maximizing the effectiveness of his power punches from both hands and ability to fight from a southpaw stance. With that said, Crawford's camp is now on full lockdown from the media or any sort of distraction up until fight week. Now, it's definitely worth considering that while it's
Experts have noted the risks that come with fighters moving up in weight, particularly the potential loss of speed and agility. Terence Crawford, now stepping into heavier divisions, has drawn attention after recent photos surfaced showing him looking noticeably bigger. Some analysts caution that such images can be misleading because of angles or lighting, but the bigger question remains. Can Crawford maintain the quickness that has always been his trademark? Gaining muscle can certainly add power, but it can also impact stamina and limit overall flexibility. At this stage of his career, those trade-offs are being closely examined.
The man is simply human. I mean, the more you age and the more weight you gain, of course you're gonna be slower. Now that doesn't mean that he won't be an elite fighter anymore. No, of course not. When you talk about special fighters like Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, they can handle themselves against anyone on any given night in the worst circumstances possible. That is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get back into the discussion when it comes to Terence Crawford carrying the 168 division, when it comes to the 168 pound weight. So if you actually think about it, Terence Crawford, how is the man looking right now? I know, yes, I know that we have seen the new pictures of Bud Crawford with him looking absolutely massive, but I actually talked about this in one of my previous videos, ladies and gentlemen, which you can go back and check out. Terence Crawford, don't let these pictures fool you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let these pictures fool you. Yes, of course Terence Crawford gained weight, but the pictures make it seem like Terence Crawford looks like a heavyweight. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, the lighting and the pump and the angle, everything plays a part in how you look in pictures. You know what I mean? Like, this is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. I can show you 2 pictures of me taken within 24 hours, and in one picture, my physique looks completely different than the other picture. One picture I can take after having a unbelievable workout, with a nice sweat on, with a nice pump, with some nice lighting, and a nice angle. I would look completely different than when I look right now or getting out of bed, which I just did.
Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez has been outspoken about the idea of Crawford facing Canelo, downplaying Crawford's chances in the matchup. Sanchez suggested it would look more like a sparring session than a true contest, arguing that Crawford is simply undersized against Alvarez. His perspective echoes the broader belief that Canelo's natural size, strength, and long experience in heavier divisions provide him with a clear advantage. While Sanchez acknowledged Crawford's talent, he stressed that skill alone doesn't always overcome the physical realities of the sport.
Crawford, quote, "It will be a sparring session for Saul Canelo Alvarez." Coach Abel Sanchez dismissed Crawford's chance against Canelo, and it's really because of the weight gain. Renowned Mexican trainer Abel Sanchez has reignited the hype surrounding Canelo Crawford, scheduled September 13th, Las Vegas. Speaking to the ring, Gennady Golovkin, trainer, says, quote, "Crawford is a great fighter, but that's why weight divisions exist. Canelo has proven that when he moves up, he faces and beats the best in each category. Neither Bivol could hurt him, nor could my fighter in 2 fights." And he's talking about Golovkin. And even though Canelo and Golovkin fought 3 times, Abel did not train him for the 3rd fight. It was Jonathan Banks. So that's why he said in the 2 fights that he's familiar with, he's saying that Golovkin never really hurt Canelo. The weight jump, the big disadvantage. Crawford, undefeated record. He's 41-0, 31 knockouts. Agreed to move up to 168, blah, blah, blah. And he says, quote, "If Crawford had taken 3 or 4 years to gain strength and mass properly, he would have a better chance. But doing it in just over a year is too risky. He'll be slower and Canelo will dictate the pace." Now, this is a recent picture of Crawford, who definitely looks in shape. And, you know, that's what we come to expect from a guy like Crawford.
Chris Algieri has voiced a more skeptical view of the hype surrounding a potential Canelo versus Crawford showdown. While many fans and promoters have labeled it as one of the biggest fights ever, Algieri isn't convinced. He admits it's an intriguing matchup, but insists it doesn't reach the level of the sport's truly historic battles, where evenly matched fighters met at their absolute peak. In his opinion, the excitement might be inflated, especially considering Crawford is stepping into new weight territory against a champion who's already proven himself at the higher divisions.
I love it because I have a lot of casuals who go to me and like, "Man, I can't wait for this fight. This is the best matchup that could be made." And I'm like, no, it's not. It's certainly not. Definitely not. Definitely not the best fight that can be made right now. I can think of a dozen fights that I would rather see, and a lot of them include Inoue against a bunch of different guys that I would rather see over this fight. But casual fans don't care that much about 122-pound guys who fight across the world in Japan. They care about big names and characters. But at the end of the day, when you look at this on paper, Crawford's 38, Canelo's 35. Neither looked very impressive in their last fight. They're still 3 weight classes apart. That has not changed, because, you know, and Crawford hasn't fought in a year plus. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of poo-pooing of this on paper. So I'm glad somebody says it. So thank you.
This guy, he didn't say his name. Yeah,
I like this guy. He came out there and just said his piece and left.
That's the type of guy that definitely calls in the WFAN here in New York. It's like, we need Boone fired. The Yankees suck. I don't look forward to anything. But,
what's up with that bullpen?
Yeah,
all right, I'm out of here.
I'm out. I'll hang up and listen. But yes, like you said, there are a bunch of fights you'd rather see. There are a bunch of fights I'd rather see both these guys in rather than the one we're getting. Like, I'd rather see.
That's a great way to put it too.
Yeah, Boots versus Crawford. I'd rather see Canelo versus Benavidez, Canelo versus Bivol, Canelo versus anyone at 168 of these top 5 there.
What about Virgil and Crawford? I like that fight. That got mentioned at one point.
Absolutely. I mean, but
fight.
This is how boxing works. We'll all be excited on September 13th because it is a big event. We've talked about this numerous times on the show. We need big events, at least 1 or 2 of them a year, to stay relevant as a sport. It's on Netflix. We're all going to be excited that week heading into it. Maybe even that guy.
Hey, Dan and Chris. Love the show. This is Nero calling from Hollywood. I was wondering, with so many people taking Bud Crawford to win, I think at one point it felt like a hot take, and now it's becoming sort of a standard take. I hope this isn't too much of an abstract question, but can you think of another time where someone chose what seemed to be a hot take and then become the regular take? And what was the result of that fight? Personally, I think it's a bridge too far for Bud Crawford, and I think people are underestimating Canelo, but who knows?
Boxing analyst Showbiz The Adult points out a clear gap in the quality of competition both fighters have faced. In his view, none of Crawford's past opponents would likely stand a chance against the level of fighters Canelo has regularly battled. This highlights a major contrast in their resumes. Canelo has repeatedly stepped into the ring with champions across multiple weight classes, often coming out on top. Crawford, though undefeated, hasn't faced the same volume of proven threats at that elite level. That said, Canelo has also faced criticism from detractors who claim he sometimes selects favorable matchups. Supporters push back on that narrative, arguing that nearly every fighter he's taken on has been a legitimate champion or a respected name in the sport. Looking strictly at the records, Canelo's path has been tougher, consistently featuring elite opposition across divisions. Crawford's resume, while perfect, simply doesn't feature the same caliber of names.
Name the fighters Crawford fought who would beat Triple G. That Spence that Crawford fought, that Kell Brook that Crawford fought, that Sean Porter that Crawford fought, would any of them beat Callum Smith at 168? I'm not sure how many fighters Crawford fought would beat the Miguel Cotto that Canelo fought. This is what I'm trying to say. When it comes to skill, experience has a lot to do with it. Case in point, you get an Austin Trout, you get a Caleb Plant, you get a Lara, you get a Floyd Mayweather, you get a Bivol. Just those 5, when it comes to experience, gives him the right experience that when he fights Crawford, he's not like, I don't know what this is like. There's not one fighter Crawford fought that would give him the experience against Canelo.
Recent reports and training clips show just how committed Crawford is to preparing for this massive test. His camp has focused on strength work, tough sparring, and conditioning drills designed to boost endurance. He's also been trying out different training approaches to handle the heavier punches and longer exchanges that a fight with Canelo will demand. Beyond the physical grind, there's an emphasis on mental sharpness. With his team stressing discipline and composure under pressure, the core of the discussion is a simple reality. Crawford has to deal with Canelo's methodical, pressure-heavy style. Crawford's defense and footwork are elite, but Canelo has made a career out of patiently waiting for the smallest mistake before capitalizing. Against Errol Spence, Crawford dominated, but Spence didn't bring the size, power, or strategic patience that Alvarez does.
And that usually breaks them down. So with some fighters, I see is that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of like, he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills. He does everything almost like perfect. But yeah, he's flat-footed, but you gotta realize that he also has hell of a head movement and body movement. He understands and he's perfected at rolling with the punch thing. He's been rolling with punches like just to take off the steam off the punches.
Former world champion Kell Brook offered his breakdown of the matchup, explaining why he favors Canelo. While Brook acknowledges Crawford's impressive win over Errol Spence, he stresses that Spence is not on the same level as Canelo. The Mexican star combines power, ring experience, and tactical mastery in a way Crawford has never faced before. Canelo has shown time and again that he thrives in higher weight divisions, defeating bigger and stronger opponents with consistency. According to Brook, Crawford's technical brilliance is undeniable, but even that may not be enough to prepare him for Canelo's ring IQ and all-around skill set. He views this bout as arguably the toughest challenge of Crawford's career, since Crawford's never squared off against such a complete fighter, one who holds advantages in size, strength, and strategy all at once.
You've got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's gonna have to, move up, and I knew when I boxed Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting a middleweight, a mediocre world champion's okay, but when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but Crawford's very, very, very good.
Do you think Crawford's still got the legs? Obviously, he's very much got great IQ in the ring, but he's very much a good mover as well. Do you feel like he's still got the legs to be maybe out-moving Canelo if he needs to?
Well, I don't know. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. It's like he's more, he kind of sets his feet and he's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed Mayweather.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to come back for more fight talk and analysis.